Hello there. It's Easter Bank Holiday Monday, and we learn that the arch-villain at the top of the World Economic Forum, Klaus Schwab, has resigned with immediate effect. How will Western governments be able to function going forwards now that the controlling hand on the World Economic Forum tiller, Klaus Schwab, has left the organisation's hierarchy with immediate effect? Keir Starmer will be beside himself with worry about where his new instructions will be coming from. After all, remember that he has said about preferring the Davos WEF way of doing things over the pesky democracy of the UK and the checks and balances of Westminster. So either Schwab is feeling physically or mentally past it, or he's found a successor who he wants in to replace him sharpish. Or he's got to get out quick for some other reason. Either way, does this mean the WEF dream of states intertwining with the huge multinational corporates to shape the world has weakened? Does this day herald the start of the WEF sliding out of our lives and into the pages of the history books? Does it herald the end of that dark, anti-capitalist, pro-Marxist, stakeholder capitalism idea? More on that in a while. Will it descend into a sort of committee structure where bureaucracy and red tape rules while boardroom battles paralyse it and meaningful results are few and far between, if ever? Or will it get a boost as someone younger comes in to take the reins? A new energy with the charisma to keep a laser focus on their ideals of a global population's subjugation into a small life of misery, where you have to ask permission to do just about anything, and the answer will depend on the elite's view of balancing your needs against the needs of the planet, and you will always lose. The organisation that espouses the view that you will own nothing and be happy, never explaining exactly who will own everything and so be ecstatic beyond avarice. My view is that owning nothing and paying rent for everything you use, eat or drink will be a miserable existence beyond words. The WEF is the organisation of 15-minute cities, low or no traffic neighbourhoods, reducing the ability of humans, well, the non-elites anyway, reducing their ability to consume anything, by limiting access to food. And when you are allowed access to it, it will just be those fake factory-produced chemical Frankenstein foods, or be made from insects and or nuts. And that goes for the meats and dairy produce too. The WEF would also like us to only buy a very limited amount of items, like clothing. Yes, all laid out in a proposal where you can only buy 3 or so new items of clothing every year. And long-distance travel would be just about impossible for the ordinary global citizen, except for maybe one holiday trip a year. And that car? Goodbye. We'll have no more of that, electrical vehicle or not. This is the dystopian stuff of the WEF and its acolytes. All the brainchild of Klaus Schwab, and the rest of us should be happy that he has stood down. Because he was trying to forge a world in which ordinary citizens would just about be tolerated as long as they stayed in their box, accepted their lowly position, and kept quiet. Now, the exiting stage left of Klaus Schwab will not be the end of the WEF. No, it has a whole structure and personnel in it, all dedicated to this new world order that they talk so openly about. And the WEF is also the champion of this concept of stakeholder capitalism, where ownership of an object, asset, money, or a company is controlled not by the owner of it, but the stakeholders affected by it. You may not have had a hand either physically or financially in constructing something, but as an external stakeholder, it must serve you. The owner has no right to expect a profit from it either. Who would bother building a company on that basis? Why work your fingers to the bone to build a family business if the last people to benefit from it is you and your family? Stakeholder capitalism, where a company would be accountable to more than just shareholders. The law would be changed to make them accountable to anyone who could conceivably come into contact with it. Short-term profits, in fact I would think any profits for shareholders, would be out, and long-term gain and sustainability for all stakeholders would be in. No one would have to put the time and effort in to benefit as a stakeholder of a company. All to address global inequality and make capitalism more inclusive. This is how the WEF refer to it. Stakeholder capitalism is a form of capitalism in which companies seek long-term value creation by taking into account the needs of all their stakeholders and society at large. i.e., every company would have to be constructed to pursue social and climate needs first and foremost, on the basis that no company can survive unless it panders to all the stakeholders out there. Even the needs of the company's direct customers looking for a product that meets their needs would be subservient to that. And the needs of the company to create a profit and provide a means for its creators and investors to earn a profit would definitely be bottom of the pile. In fact, we are already seeing woke people viewing companies making a profit as an inherently evil process, especially those in industries such as defence. So why would anyone bother to create a company only to have their control over it usurped by stakeholders? For my mind, the laws around net zero, the environment, and taxes, and paying the employees placed on businesses to achieve some of these are already too onerous. But the woke Marxists out there want more, so much more. They want to see personal profit driven out of society to a point where everyone works for the living wage, whether they be part-time cleaner or hard-pressed CEO. And where ownership of a company means nothing more than being in charge of a part of the global social services setup, a non-profit social services setup. Where these stakeholders have more power over your company's affairs than the board of directors have. Where making a healthy profit will be seen as not good for the poorer stakeholders, so it must be redistributed. You get the idea. As far as I can see, companies set up to pursue these aims would always be trading on the verge or beyond of insolvency. And this stakeholder capitalism would, for me, be the first thing under the bus now that Schwab has parted company with his own creation, the WEF. Well, publicly anyway. But there are a sufficient number of his adherents out there to keep the dream alive, such as Keir Starmer for one, and the sooner he's gone, the better. Finally, please like, subscribe and comment below, and a big shout out to our Patreon supporters, and thank you for watching.